And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcast. On this week's Pop Culture Cosmos, we'll be talking about even more Xbox, plus also as well, have you been playing Dispatch? Dispatch is now available. It's the number one game on Steam. What is Dispatch? Well, we're going to talk more about it on the Pop Culture Cosmos coming out this week. Plus, I'm also hoping to go ahead and do another expose on Xbox as well, because they've been the hot topic as of late. We'll also talk a little bit about what's going on in the movies, streaming, and so much more. Also, go ahead and make sure you check out later this week, because I hopefully will get into another State of Pro Wrestling with John Orlando right there for you at the Pop Culture Cosmos, wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget also as well our great friends, including Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Yo! Also as well, don't forget the great things that the Lakerholics crew did on Saturday. And go ahead and check out what they're doing, because you know they're happy. You know they're happy guys, because they did a great job, absolutely a great job, on Saturday without Jamie Sweet. So go ahead and check out what they're doing at Lakerholics.com. Also, as well, of course, don't forget guys like Empire Jeff TV and Joe Soro's Experiment channel covering the Dodgers and the Lakers. Also, as well, of course, don't forget as well a lot of the great things that we're doing each and every day right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Tomorrow, I've got a great interview. Well, actually, it's an NBA Observations. Caleb Ponce said he wanted to come back on the show. So talk NBA. So we're talking NBA. So I'm going to be dropping that here in the not too distant future. Great conversation with him. I'm not sure whether I'm making it live or for members only first. I'm not sure. So become a member just to make sure, $2.99 a month. So I'm going to get you extra stuff here when I can, as soon as I can, with some great stuff for members, but also as well for everybody else out there. We're going to be talking the NBA coming up here with Caleb Ponce this week as well. Don't forget as well. All right there from my friend, Yaron Weitzman. Go ahead and check out what he's doing with his book, a #1 bestseller. You see it right there. #1 on bestseller on Amazon in sports journalism right there. It's the #1 sports book right now out. I guess what you could say, maybe sports journalism, #1 bestseller. It is a Hollywood ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers by Yaron Weitzman. Not only check out my interview with him, but go ahead and get his book today. $30 for the hardcover, $14.99 for the Kindle version, and a membership as well with Audible is available to you as well. Again, Hollywood Ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers. Go ahead and check it out today, wherever you get your great books. You know, if it's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, you know it's selling like hotcakes as well. So go ahead. If you like your Lakers, you like the inside detail about the Lakers, and again, this is the book the Lakers really didn't want you to see because of all the stuff that was talked about behind the scenes. Over 250 interviews Yaron did for this book. So go ahead and check it out today. A Hollywood Ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers as well. I got it right there. Sweet. But don't forget as well, my good friend, Drip Show at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. You see Kobe and Gigi memorialized right there on the pillow. Such detail. Look at that. Quality detail right there at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. Look above me right there. There's Luka, you know, in healthier times. There's Kobe right there as well in the Sega Game Gear box. Kept saying Genesis. It's actually Sega Game Gear box. As far as canvas art is concerned, whether you want a hat, a t-shirt, pillow, canvas art, or something else in mind, go ahead and check out my good friend at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. DM him, whatever it is you're planning, whether it's pop culture related or sports related or mixture of both. And go ahead and let him know what you're thinking. It's going to be a great holiday gift that only Drip Show can make for you at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. Ooh, the Lakers came in tonight. First road game of the year into Sacramento. Would Sacramento light the beam? Because it looked like everything was all set up for Sacramento. No LeBron. No Jackson Hayes. During the game, Gabe Vincent rolled an ankle. Marcus Smart hurt his knee as well. Not good signs. And to top it all off, before the game, we found out that Luka Doncic had sprained a finger, and also as well, he had a leg contusion, leg contusion and sprained finger, and he would be reevaluated in 1 week. Yes, a bruise, to be specific, a bruise. So with that, we will not have him at least for a week. What were the Lakers going to do? Doom and gloom was the talk, and I'm obviously going to be playing with you guys out there. That's what we were thinking, what a lot of people were saying. But the Lakers gave their all, gave great effort. We saw great performances tonight from Austin Reeves looking to cash in, cha-ching, and all that. You guys weigh in. He looked like $1 million and then some, with a 51-point career high performance. Let me say that again. 51 points from Austin Reeves, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 assist short of a triple-double. DeAndre Ayton, great effort. That motor, which we had talked about during the first 2 games of the season, that wasn't always revved up too high. Well, today it was. He came out like a guy that showed you he could still be a starting level center in the NBA. He showed you that he wanted to get paid, or he wants to get paid in next summer like an NBA starting center. He gave you 22 and 15. Rui Hachimura chipped in 18 as well. Jake LaRavia, he tried hard at the end to give that game away, but still got 11 for us. Marcus Smart came in with the time that he was in there for 11 points himself. Jared Vanderbilt had 9, and then tough defense. And the Lakers pulled out a victory, closing out the second half, winning the second half. Joe and I talked about the third quarter being an issue, but for the second straight game, the Lakers came out and played the second half, third and fourth quarters, and beat Sacramento in that second half, 65-58. To pull out the victory, 127-120. And here today to go ahead and discuss today's game as the Lakers move to 2-1. Good man indeed. Go ahead and check out his playback.tv / the Joe Soro experiment on playback for the Dodgers coverage tomorrow. To go ahead and check out your Dodgers during the World Series. Go Dodgers as they look to win their second game on the Toronto Blue Jays, and then follow it up with the Joe Soro experiment on YouTube as well. It is Joe Soro. Joe, great to have you here. Yes, whatever you want to say. Mark said, make sure you give JJ some credit. We have to give everybody credit because today they played with more heart and more energy than we've seen. Sometimes that happens when you lose your 2 best players like they did. Yes, it's Sacramento, but still, this is an NBA team, and they went in and played like an NBA team today and got the victory, Joe.
There's no doubt that Austin Reeves is him. What kind of him? It doesn't matter. He's him. And this is a league, in my view, that is as hard to do well in as any other league. And hitting a baseball might be the hardest thing. I mean, the hardest thing you can do. But the things that you have to hope to happen, which you don't hope to happen. Like, I don't think Austin was growing up hoping to be 6'8", 6'7", 6'4", whatever. People don't usually hope to be that, I guess, unless they start aging and doing their thing. But you got to have a little bit of genetic lottery type stuff, right? And then you can work on that ability to move laterally, jump, shoot a basketball. And you look at someone like Austin Reeves and you go, wow, here's a guy that got a little bit of that lottery. Not a lot. He won maybe the $1 million lottery in terms of his physical stature. But then he turned it into 100 million in terms of, and he's literally going to turn that into reality for him by working his rear end off and becoming, I would say, a version of, if I had to compare, he's not this guy, but he could have the effect of this guy, which is why we were using him as a super 6 starter, which is a Manu Ginobili. The basketball style is not the same, obviously, but I'm meaning his impact. He was a tweener 3 and 4 guy on a title team for me. I felt more comfortable him as a 4, right? But he's officially become a 3 now. He could be a 3 player on a title team, much like how Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu were the threesome in San Antonio. How this plays out, I had a little bit of when I saw Mark Walter sitting with Jeannie the other day, and then we got the announcement that this sale should be done within about a month. I started really thinking about what may be happening here. I think what's going to happen, especially if Austin continues to play as well as he has, I think he's going to get signed, and they're going to let other people do their thing. Austin's, I think, is going to be the priority. And I think their thought process is we're going to keep Austin as that third guy, and then we'll eventually get the second guy when we have the opportunity. So I think that's becoming a reality now, barring any major injury. Knock on wood, please don't get injured. So, hey, and beyond that, I also want to give a lot of credit to everyone. Every single player on this team tonight played phenomenal basketball, absolutely phenomenal basketball. They were moving the ball. They were moving. They were switching. This is the second game in a row where their switching was phenomenal. This is what we want as basketball fans. When we talk about past teams that weren't title teams, like bona fide title teams, the reason why we love those teams still, even the 05 and the 06 and the 07 teams in between Kobe's 2 dynasties, they played their rear end off. Now, it was a little easier to know that they're going to play their rear end off in that time because Kobe was a psychopath and he made you do it. But these guys don't have anybody like that to put a fire up their rear end, almost literally. They took it up on their own accord to say, you know what? LeBron is out. Luka's out. We are going to go into Sacramento in a hostile environment. It always is, no matter what time of year, no matter how bad or good the Kings are, and played a grade A NBA basketball game as you could ever watch in October. And credit to the Kings, credit to the crowd, credit to everyone in the NBA tonight. Honest to God, when the game ended, actually it was even before it ended, I was an absolute satisfaction. And this is, of course, on a night where my Steelers got their ass whooped.
Exactly. I was going to say that.
by the refs and by Green Bay. Tonight's game was a disaster. The exact opposite of a product being good was in the NFL today. It was really, really bad. And LA ended this weekend in absolute perfect fashion. Hopefully the trend can continue tomorrow, Tuesday, and hopefully on Wednesday we're celebrating a championship in LA, at least in terms of, the actual trophy presentation, because it's the real celebration should they win Wednesday would be probably a parade on Friday, Saturday.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate it. The Lakers win 127-120. Again, moving to 2-1. And yes, Joe, I know that Sacramento is probably in the midst and probably starting in the midst of a long season for them, but still, they were there at virtually full strength, facing against a team which had several individuals out, including their top 2 players, and 2 more stepped on out. So we don't know the status of Gabe Vincent going forward. We don't know the status of Marcus Smart going forward. Marcus Smart did hurt his knee, but he did come back to the bench. He was on the bench at least, but he did not return to the game. Gabe Vincent rolled his ankle, and did not come back for the locker room. So tomorrow doesn't get any easier. Back to back, Joe. They fly back down to play Portland. Portland, mixed results there too. But I will say again, I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen with Austin Reeves because he's truly on a heater, my friend.
In my view, it shouldn't matter. You're talking about young players here that are playing. So back to back. So this is the time to play in this manner. You're talking about DeAndre Ayton. You're talking about Luka, Rui. You're talking about guys that have major money at stake here in about 9 months. Hopefully 9 months, at least 7 months. And this is when you show your stuff. You go win in Sacramento on the road, and then you go and perform in Portland, which has always been a weird place for LA, right? No matter who's there. But since LeBron has been on the team, that's probably been the one thing that's been flipped. It's even if LeBron is not playing tomorrow, LeBron seemed to have cured the Portland thing in the time he's been here. Have you noticed that? Did you notice that we win in Portland more with LeBron? So hopefully they can go in there with the same energy and the same aspirations to better their chances at getting what they want at the end of the year, because that always is a good motivator. And then I was picking them to go 2-2 until Luka got back. So this would be the second win before they go face Minnesota on later in the week in Minnesota, and then Memphis. If they can sneak out an extra win out of those two, that'd be even better. But I had penciled them in. Hey, can you get these next 2 wins at least? And then maybe hopefully be competitive against Minnesota and Memphis in Memphis. And then you get out of the week at least with an okay record. Not something I would want, but an okay record. And for the record, if the Lakers had lost this game, yes, I probably wouldn't be as satisfied as I am now, but we still saw an amazing performance by everyone on the team. And we saw an amazing NBA game. And I think that needs to be the highlight of this, because we can't sit here and yap and whine like we do about how shitty things are and then not say something is damn good when it is good. That's not how we operate here. Okay. If JJ Redick becomes a better coach, I'm going to be happy, and I'd be more than willing to eat my words in terms of him showing things that I haven't liked, and I haven't liked them since June. Tonight, last 2 games, I've been very encouraged by the moxie of this team. And if he's the engine because of it, then so be it. I want JJ Redick to be successful. It's not about me. It's not about the show. It's not about this is about winning. Everything we say on this show about our teams, about the players, it's about winning. This is about winning, and there is nothing else behind it.
All I'll say is this. I hope you had Austin Reeves starting on your fantasy team, because as you saw, I put it in the chat, the last 3 times LeBron and Luka didn't play and Austin Reeves did was 45 points, 7 assists, 37 points, 13 assists, and today 51 points, 9 assists, and 11 boards. As No Joker with his very generous, the most, I think it's the largest non-Intel Wild super chat that we've ever had, Joe, and I'm very grateful to you, No Joker, and thank you so much for doing so. He's him. Tonight, he was him indeed. Once again, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do win 127-120. And it's not just the winning or the losing, Joe. It's the effort. Like we were talking in playback on the first 2 games about sometimes Ayton's motor, DeAndre Ayton tonight, who, again, he should also get a lot of praise because 22 and 15 for him tonight. He doesn't, you can see the motor just doesn't rev all the way up as far as on the rev meter. But today, sensing something was different, sensing something that the team needed from him, he gave it all. He was even leading fast breaks, Joe. He was giving great effort on both ends of the floor. That is not going to be unnoticed by us when that happens and when you see that kind of effort from DeAndre Ayton, Joe.
Sabonis made a bad decision fouling early on in the game, and I think that mentally took him out. And then DeAndre Ayton finished him off. And Sabonis, and this is crazy to say, someone had mentioned in the chat, so I want to give them some praise as well earlier. I can't scroll up right now, but I know someone had said something about how AD would get worked by Sabonis. And tonight, Sabonis made a mistake early on, and then DeAndre pounced on him the rest of the night. He was not even I forgot Sabonis was playing after the first quarter. I didn't even think about him. And that was probably because DeAndre Ayton's motor tonight said, I have an opportunity here to be kind of maybe a second option here. And he was
9 points tonight. 9 points for 10 points for Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah, and he was fantastic. Not only did he score 22, he had 15 rebounds. And he was moving and engaged and
hustling.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, it was Nick T. Thank you, Nick T. Yeah, and it's important to make light of. I don't want to sit here and praise someone for playing well. I'm sorry, playing hard. You should be playing like that all the time. But when it comes to big men, and Shaq is really the first guy that I ever heard say it out loud. Kareem was like this. Robert Parrish was like this. Patrick Ewing was like this. I'm sure all the bigs that I've seen, all the great bigs that I've seen were like this. But Shaq was the only one that came out. You want the house guarded, you got to feed the dog. Well, DeAndre Ayton got fed tonight, and his energy was up. And the big men need to be fed. The big dogs need to be fed. And if you feed DeAndre Ayton, you're going to have the opportunity to now really, really solidify an area that cost you last year after the trade. Cost you in the sense of there was nothing that they could do to solidify that position. They were fortunate enough to get DeAndre Ayton at 26-year-old DeAndre Ayton, a motivated DeAndre Ayton because he wants to get the next big bag, right? Yes. And maybe the Luka, at least for one night, injury gave him the opportunity to say, good, now I'm not going to have to wait for LeBron to get his. I'm not going to have to wait for Luka to get his. I'm not going to have to wait for Austin to get his. He's like, Austin is going to be he's going to be the guy that conducts this. I'm going to be a big part of the next phase in this offense. And it came out to be as good of a game as we could hope him to have. Oh, and congratulations on hitting all your free throws. Free throws were absolutely off the charts.
Absolutely. Again, when you're shooting 89% for the free throw line, 48% overall from the field, that keeps you in the game. And according to like what was posted by Kurt Affair just a little while ago, he said, I think that Austin is the first player to have 50 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and 80% true shooting all in the same game. So tremendous performance from Austin Reeves. Vari, thank you so much for the very generous sports chat right there from Sports Baby. Super chat indeed. I'm happy for you boys. Great win. Go Dodgers. Absolutely. Go Dodgers indeed. Thank you again to both you and No Joker for your very kind and generous super chats. Just absolutely blown away by them. Once again, Joe, the Lakers do win. And it is going to be a little bit of a tough challenge because we've got the back-to-back tomorrow. Also next week, there's Sunday, Monday is also back-to-back. If the week holds out true before being reevaluated for Luka, we may not see him on the floor till a week from Wednesday at the earliest. Your thoughts on this finger injury? I don't know when it occurred. I'm not 100% sure. Was the finger taped up? Was it not? When did it happen? He seemed very happy when he scored 49 when he came out of the game. It's one of those injuries. Where did it happen, Joe? Because he sure as hell seemed happy when he left the game on Friday night.
I don't know what happened. A contusion on the leg?
The bruise, yeah.
Why would that keep you out of playing basketball? And why would something on your finger, on your non-shooting finger, be a problem? there are football players that play the next day after them breaking a finger. Like what this is, Kobe didn't even miss any games after he broke his shooting finger. And all those scumbags that crapped on his shooting the last few years of his career, did you not know his index finger was broken for 3 years? Did people forget that? You want to know when it happened, Gerald? You want to know? You remember when it happened? It happened in Powell's first game in New Jersey. I think Kobe scored 6 points in that game. I had never seen him smile the way he smiled in the post-game interview. What's her name? Michelle Beadle was interviewing him. I remember it vividly, like it was yesterday. That's when Kobe broke this finger on his shooting hand. And you never, ever saw him ever, God knows, if he was still alive, that thing would have been arthritic by now, right? It'd be sitting there like this, like Strahan's pinky. And he still played. I don't know what's going on. I'm not trying to throw a conspiracy theory here, but how do you miss time for a week from a jammed finger on your non-shooting hand and then have a bruise on your leg? Is the bruise making your bones break? Like I don't understand the injury report. I don't. And why it would take a week for that to go to be reevaluated.
But for the Lakers to get the victory today, obviously it took a heroic performance from Austin Reeves, 51 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists. DeAndre Ayton came up big for the Lakers as well, 22 and 15. Rui Hachimura, 7 of 10, 18 points. Gave you what he needed to give you right there. Plus, he played some pretty good defense at times, Joe. That, like you said, the helping, the switching, was the communication seemed a lot more on point when you saw them on defense. Marcus Smart in the starting lineup got 11 and 5 assists. Jake LaRavia, despite that last minute or end of the game faux pas, because he had a breakaway and he missed it and then ended up throwing it out of bounds, he ended up causing a turnover. 11 points for him coming off the bench. Jared Vanderbilt with 9 points, plus 15 for him, and his defense was solid. 3 for 5. So the answer to when he would start making shots was today. So I'm hopeful he'll take this game and move forward. After that, again, you didn't get much from the bench other than that. Chris Mannion, though, something I want to put in for you, and you like probably the sound when I say this because you don't always like saying his name, but Chris Mannion, two-way player, came off the bench tonight for the first time, any action at all, training camp, preseason, or otherwise, because he's been injured throughout. Came off the bench and got the call ahead of Bronny. What does that say, Joe? What does that say?
And Chris Mannion had a chance to make a shot that could have maybe boosted his confidence a little bit, but he missed it badly. Well, I already know what it says. Chris Mannion is likely a NBA hopeful at the least. And you want to see what he has. We already know what Bronny is. He is a guy that doesn't even belong in college basketball, let alone the NBA. And it's just not a subject that I think even needs to be put into anything tonight or ever, because it's a waste of breath, it's a waste of time, and I'm just not gonna do it. This is a very difficult game to play, and to play at a high level. And you saw on those film segments online where the fear plays a part in that, as well as the fact that he's not capable of playing. So now you can't play and you're also scared because you're going to get your shot blocked. If you're hanging out at the 3-point line, there's less likely of you getting smacked down when you're at the basket. However, when Luka's going on a pick and roll and he's beating his man and there's no one in front of him and there's no one that's paying attention to you, you don't dive to the basket to get an easy layup. Those little things are catastrophic in so many ways in a basketball game, because you allow the team to collapse easier. You allow a team to play basically 4-on-5 at all times, and that's just something that can't happen. And that's where our frustration is with Jared Vanderbilt, even though today he played much better than normal, I cannot justify someone not being able to catch a basketball and make a layup. If you can't catch a basketball, make a layup with even just a little bit of resistance, you don't belong in the NBA in my book. You just don't, especially in this day and age. You may have been able to get away with just being a defender back in the 90s and 80s and 70s. Dennis Rodman would not have lasted in today's game. He just would not have lasted. He would have been played out of the gym. And I would love for someone to talk to me about that and let me know how he would have been capable. Think about it for a second. What would Dennis Rodman do in today's game?
Well, similar player would be Jeremy Sohan, but Jeremy Sohan didn't have the eye for the rebounding and didn't play as hard no defense as Dennis Rodman did, in my opinion.
It's too much deficiencies in today's game. If you can't, those rebounds that he's getting are based off of teams playing half court offenses pretty much 80% of the day, 80% of the game, 90% of the game, sometimes close to 100% of the game. There would be no chance because they'd be hitting open shots left and right. They would have brought him out to the perimeter, and there'd be no shot. There'd be no way he could get the rebounds that he was getting. The game is a completely different game. You got to be a thoroughbred, which he was, but you also got to be able to be effective on the offensive end so that you're not exploited, especially in the playoffs. And what I mean by
big shout out to Chris Mannion though for coming in, giving the Lakers a few minutes, giving Austin a much needed blow. He did play in the summer league with Golden State, but didn't play at all during the course of training camp due to injury. So it was nice to see him come out there. He is on a two-way. Just wanted to mention, so we are limited on the number of times as of now we will see him.
Yeah, they're losing. I'm hoping Smart's okay. Gabe Vincent getting hurt is par for the course at this point.
He was seen in a walking boot in the Lakers locker room. The x-rays on his left ankle were negative.
Didn't look too negative to me. Looked pretty positive that he's going to be hurt for the next month. Yeah, there's Gabe Vincent he's not Kendrick Nunn, but he's darn near pretty much as close as you could be to Kendrick Nunn. One of the major failures of free agent pickups in the last 3 years. And I don't think the Lakers really necessarily need him. It'd be nice to have a luxury player like that on the team, but he just can't seem to stay healthy. And then Marcus Smart, I don't know what happened to his knee, but hopefully it's just a tweak because his energy is amazing and everybody kind of plays with it too.
But once again, a terrific performance tonight from Austin Reeves. The question is, Joe, how can he parlay this? He's going to get the ball. He's going to be the guy with a lot of usage and a ton of usage over the course of the next week for obvious reasons. How can he parlay this into a much more successful run as a number 3 guy going forward once LeBron and Luka comes back? How can he perfect? Because we've seen this before, Joe, where he has been the guy for short periods of time, and a lot of the offense has had to run through him. Remember, he was the point guard on the team at one point in time. Remember, there were other injuries forcing like AD and LeBron when he had to play by himself, and the offense has been on him. How can he just take what he's doing now and be able to parlay that into even being more effective when LeBron and Luka come back?
There's a couple things that have to happen here. Austin Reeves is going to have to be like Vinnie Johnson or a relief pitcher to be able to switch the moment he's needed. You're not going to be above LeBron and Luka. You know that those guys are going to be the 1 and 1A options when they come back. Can you play like this when they're sitting? Or can you play like this when Luka sits and LeBron can shift over to the 4 and not have to control the ball the entire game? So it's going to be a couple things that need to happen. JJ Redick is going to have to devise an offense, a system, a personality, an identity to where you can reel in Austin, reel him back, and use him as that weapon. Again, Manu Ginobili. Reeves needs to be the Manu Ginobili of the Lakers from now until likely he's going to get signed and stay here and be that guy in terms of what I hope will be him, pardon the pun, him and Luka, and then the second star that arrives. If he can do that, and if JJ can put it together correctly in terms of the way the system needs to be to make that work, then there's a very good chance that these kind of games are going to benefit the Lakers even more, because now the usage for LeBron and the usage for Luka isn't going to be as heavy. I would love for Luka to only play 35 minutes a game and LeBron to play only 30 minutes a game. And if it means Austin playing like this, him playing 35 minutes too, and intertwining those things however see fit, however you can adjust to whatever team you're playing. See, that's the other thing that you have to understand too. It's about matchups against particular teams. How's it going to work? You may need Luka to play the main guy on certain games, and some other games you'll be able to use Austin to his strengths, and then of course LeBron as well. That's the whole point of the coaching thing. When you see the coaches in the past, the great coaches, the Pat Rileys, the Phil Jacksons, they always were able to adjust and have their teams adjust to the team that they're playing. So I'll give you an example. In 1988, the Lakers played Seattle, and they played Utah, and they played the Pistons in consecutive series where they went 7. We talk about the dominating teams, right? We talk about the 1983 Philadelphia 76ers, how they only lost 1 on the road to the title. We talk about the 96 Bulls. We talk about the 01 Lakers. But what you fail to realize sometimes is those games, those seven game wins for certain teams. And in that particular year, the Lakers beat the Sonics, they beat Utah, and they beat the Pistons. Every single one of those teams was a different style of basketball. Every single one. And the Lakers with 7 with each one and won each one. And that right there, if you want to look at how important coaching and how important team chemistry is, what did it take for that team to win that championship, right? James Worthy ended up being the finals MVP of the 1988 finals. He had his only triple-double in Game 7, and that was the game. It started before them, but that was the stamp of Big Game James. Like, he became officially Big Game James after that series. The Lakers need to adapt to all the styles that are in the NBA. Now, there isn't a half-court team here and a fast-running team here and a bad boys team here. Almost every team's kind of doing their own thing. But what they're going to have to adapt to is the players they're against. How are they going to adjust to the players and the talent that they're playing against? How are you going to adjust to Wembanyama? What are you going to do then? A guy that I don't even know how anybody's going to get a shot off him if he's set under the basket. How? You can't. You can do all the footwork you want under there. You only have 3 seconds to do it too. How are you going to get that ball in the hoop if he's stationed? So now, what are you going to do? You're going to drag him out. You're going to need a freak athlete like Zion Williamson to dunk on him every now and then. That's it. There's really no freak athlete on this team anymore. LeBron used to be that guy. He's not anymore. So, and of course, you had guys like Kobe back in the day dunking on Yao. Like, who is going to be that guy on this team? We won't know until they get that second star. Is that second star going to be an athletic freak? Heck, even if they got Giannis, is Giannis going to be a little long in the tooth at that point, right? A lot of these things are going to have to be built within the next 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years so that this team can be competitive and hopefully the next regime, right? The next title contending regime. The Lakers, when they get their number one star, typically win a championship. I think LeBron and Wilt are the only ones that only won one when they came to LA, but they still won one. And I think Wilt went to 4 finals in his time with LA. Unfortunately, 3 of them were losses. LeBron only one finals appearance, 1 title. If there's a miracle in this season where they can make it work, great. But again, I'm doing my best to try to enjoy what we're watching here and praise the hard work, and then also understand that there's got to be a lot of things that have to get put together here for this team to get to where they really need to get to on a consistent basis.
Once again, it is the Lakers winning. Just a great victory tonight, 127-120. They moved to 2-1 on the season. I know that according to Twitter, the story is that Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic were talking smack to each other through the text. And Luka told Austin that you're going to have to get 60 tonight. Well, he almost did that. A career high, 51 points, 11 assists, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. A sensational performance from him. Heading back home are the Lakers, the MASH unit that it is, Joe. We're only in game 3. And we already have a lot of hurt individuals, which is not a good sign. I know that Nibel was talking about, how does this happen? Is it because there's too much for Luka? Is it because there's so much on him? When you play basketball, you are really exposing your hands, Joe. You're really exposing your hands and fingers to a lot of potential injury. People slapping on it, whacking down on it, catching the ball. If your hands are not in the right place, you can get them jammed. When you put up shots, somebody blocks your shot, you can get it jammed. Just so many potential ways of you possibly getting your hands injured. So I get that. I understand that. When I played every day, those were just part of the deals as far as the ankle injuries, the hands, the fingers, etc., etc. The leg contusion, I don't know how serious that is because in essence, Joe, it is still just a bruise. But with Jackson Hayes out because of knee soreness, with now Gabe Vincent in a walking boot, we don't know the status of Marcus Smart. Of course, LeBron is still out. Maxi Kleber has an oblique injury. The injuries are piling up, and these are the type of injuries that seem to pile up later in the season for a lot of teams and for the Lakers in previous years. But for right now, it's happening in Game 3.
I don't know. I'd have to do some research on what's going on in the NBA. You would think that the team or the era where that has the most protected rules ever in the NBA would be much lessen the injuries, but it's not. I'd have to do some research, and I always will use the 92 Knicks as an example of amazing stamina and amazing ability to play almost every game. I look at that team in 92, the Knicks, they had only one starter miss one game. Imagine that. Imagine all 5 starters playing 82 games and only one guy played 81. And then the bench, everyone played 80 games. I think one missed 2 games. That's it. The entire rotation, the entire starters and the rotation played every single game. And this is New York. The New York Knicks were a copy of the Pistons of the 90s. Very rough and tough. The Anthony Masons, the Charles Oakleys, the Ron Harpers. These guys played like animals. And I mean that in the most complimentary way. And they played every single game. You think they were getting messed up fingers and bruises on their legs?
I mean, it just happens. I said
Those
in the
guys
chat
went into
that,
every game
yeah.
getting and unleashing bruises. They're getting those bruises too. It's not when you hit somebody that's coming through the middle in football, you're doing just as much damage to your shoulder than you are the person who's getting the hit. So I don't know what is going on in the NBA. I can reel back on my common sense thinking on it and saying that these guys are as soft as Charmin, but it's there's no incentive for these guys to really play a lot anymore because they are also making more money than you can ever imagine. Think about it. These guys are guaranteed $40-50 million a year, whether they play or not. Ben Simmons made what, $30 million crying like a little baby, and they gave it to him. And we've seen what the James Hardens have done. We've seen what the Jimmy Butlers have done. These guys are just entitled scum people, and they keep being rewarded by it. So why would they care? Why would anybody care to play with bruises and a bum finger on the non-shooting hand? I know.
Thank you so much to Gustavo for becoming a member, and also thank you to Nick T for the super chat. Wanted to go ahead and mention it's nothing new for AR in the regular season. Problem is, and this is a good point, Nick, is he going to shrink again in the playoffs? AR needs to prove himself to be a consistent player in the playoffs. And again, we've gone over this back in the past couple of weeks as far as, how he has continued to play in the playoffs when he puts so much effort on the defensive end and slows his person he's defending down, like an Edwards or Murray. His offense suffers. When his offense seems to go at a different level and play better on offense during the playoffs, the defense suffers. So what does AR need to prove to you, Joe, throughout the season in the playoffs in order for him to get that big contract you and I both think he'll be asking for this offseason?
I don't – when Mark Walter takes over the team, it's very unlikely I'm going to really say much in how they conduct business. Even if they come out and give Austin Reeves a $40 million a year contract, I'm probably going to go, okay, well, they must know something. They must know that this is a good deal. I was not very supportive at the beginning of the Ohtani contract 2 years ago. I'm like, $700 million? What are you, nuts? I thought he was going to get 400. They gave him 700. I said, this is baseball. He only has 4 shots a game to help you. And he's not pitching next year. And even when he does pitch, okay, in the way baseball is right now, what's he going to do? Pitch twice a month? 700 million? Really? And then it got thrown in my face. I looked like an idiot, especially recently, because it wasn't just the fact that he went 50-50 year one and won a championship. Then he followed that with a double nickel, breaking his own record. And then he wins an NLCS MVP to boot.
And he might performance probably of all time.
Yeah, and it's funny because he has been a little low leverage the last couple seasons, and I find it hilarious. I'm like, low leverage is an interesting word because that's usually set with with relief pitcher types. I'm like, do you guys watch the game? Even in the Philly series, sometimes a player may not hit. He may not hit, but he affects the game in a different way. Baseball is like that. That's why baseball is a weird game. His walk created another walk. A pitching change because they want to combat Ohtani ended up being a benefit for somebody else after him. i.e. the Grand Slam to Freddie Freeman the year before then. Baseball has a lot of ways for it to be effective. And sometimes it doesn't just mean, oh, he's getting a single when there's a man on board. And again, I go just as nuts on his strikeouts as anybody else. It's aggravating, but it is what it is. I guess you got to take a good with bad. Now, if you flip that into the Austin Reeves thing, the only reason I'm concerned about paying him more than I think you should, based off of the high leverage, I'll use that now, high leverage areas in the playoffs that he hasn't been able to connect to, is you don't have room in this league with this agreement that they have to make that mistake. Because no one is going to trade for him. Also, you give him $45 million for the next 5 years, you are not going to be able to trade that contract unless you take on a crap load of stuff, and then you got to send out draft capital, which I am tired of. I am sick and tired of sending out first-round picks. The only way I send out any first-round picks is if you're getting a prime player, not even a Jokic and not even a Giannis right now. This team needs to build depth now. The collective bargaining agreement needs players on the team that are on the low end of money so you can benefit with having depth while you construct the star parts, which the Lakers right now have Austin. They need that second guy with Luka, and then they need to draft well to put those things together. That's how Presti did it. That's how Oklahoma City did it. And it's not because I want to be like Oklahoma City. It's because it's the way that's set up now. You have to do it that way. You can't just go sign anybody. So that's something that I'm sure the new regime's going to know and they're going to master. And I said this before. Don't be surprised. They did it with Andrew Friedman. Got him out of Tampa and brought him to L.A. Don't be surprised if in a few years when Mark Walter gets settled in and is ready to go get his second star, that they're not making a phone call to Mr. Presti and saying, hey, you're making about $4.5 million over there, right? How would you like to make 10?
Again, Joe, when it came down to it, like you talked about with Sam Presti and how he built his championship team. Remember, in the bubble, to show you how fast it became, in the bubble, Joe, they were a playoff team. And he decided to blow it up, have SGA be the cornerstone of their future, and get assets upon assets upon assets. And then when he did get those assets as far as the draft, get young players that you could build upon, the Holmgrens, the Williams, right alongside the SGAs, and build a young team together that can grow together. And look at them now. Off to a 3-0 start as the defending champions. But the Lakers, like you said, have a lot of decisions they need to make going forward, and whether or not they want to build towards the future or if they want to keep trying to go ahead and, like you said, take risks, take gambles, try to see if they can win in free agency, make that trade, et cetera, because on draft day next year, they will have 3 first-round draft picks at that point in time, but we will wait and see what happens. But yes, certainly gotten off to a great start. Has Austin Reeves kind of struggled in his first game, but closed out as far as in the garbage time. But second game was a great support for Luka in that second game, and then backed it up with his probably career-defining performance tonight with 51, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists, 1 assist short of a triple-double in a victory for the Lakers, 127-120. And yes, the 120, Joe, the defense, obviously that says the defense wasn't, on the scoreboard and in the books looking as great as you would like it. But like you said, the switching, the communication, the effort on defense, it was there. If the execution wasn't always there, or if San Antonio just hit the shots that the Lakers wanted to give them, you got to give them credit for doing so. And giving up 120 is a lot of points, absolutely. But the Lakers, we talked about it, they're going to have to rely heavily on their offense We just didn't know it would be without Luka and LeBron when we said it. But yes, they will still have to rely continuously on their offense to win games.
Well, you got to look at how the game is played to justify sometimes the points scored. The Kings shot 101 times. They shot 43 threes, and they made almost 42% of them. However, the Lakers were more aggressive, and they had almost 3 times more free throws than the Kings. Aggressiveness, more often than not, is always going to come out on top, even if they're making shots in a certain way, which they made shots. Levine was, I mean, he only made 4 3-pointers, but it felt like he made more. Hell, Westbrook was making 3-point shots tonight. You live with those things. You just do, especially in today's NBA. But when it mattered most, both those guys really didn't make those shots when it mattered. And it started out really with getting Sabonis, because it became a perimeter game for the Kings, and there was no one to clean up their mess like Sabonis usually does, and there was no one they could rely on down low when things weren't going in. So they were basically relying on shooting all day, shooting from long distance, and hoping that they can make more shots than they could have. Problem is they couldn't stop the Lakers on offense either. They could have probably beaten anybody tonight if the Lakers weren't playing a little bit better and making those shots as well. I mean, if Austin, think about it this way. If Austin scored 42 points tonight, which that would have been an amazing, that would have been a career, would that be? No, he scored what, 48 before tonight?
He scored in the 40s.
Did he ever score 50 before?
Yes, this is his career high.
Okay, so even imagine this: if he had scored 43 points tonight, we would be praising him, right? But the Lakers would have lost. Tonight was a full team effort in a win with a player that played in a zone, that zone that we've talked about for years that he just couldn't miss, because every time he hit, it felt like every time he hit those shots when they really needed it, he made it. And that is, in a nutshell, what we need him to do when things are at a higher stake, like in the playoffs. And maybe he can be that guy this year. He has improved every year, and he didn't. You've heard me say this before. I can't get on Austin Reeves for not being able to cover certain people. It's just not common sense. A Jalen Williams, an SGA, an Anthony Edwards, you can't expect him to guard those guys. That's not going to happen. Guys that are athletic, just much more athletic than he is, and can jump out the building 10 times better than he can, have problems guarding those guys. So when things get magnified in the playoffs, it's going to be even worse. But where he can improve, where he can be better than he's been in the playoffs, is doing what he did today from long distance. Because if he's making those kind of shots, which he can get, because he wasn't making those shots against Minnesota.
Consistent 38 to 40% 3-point shooter, Joe.
It's not the percentage. Forget this percentage right now. I'm talking about timely shots. This is about timing. When we talk about KCP, when we talk about Caruso, would you say those guys are snipers? Back in the 2020 title team.
KCP was, yes.
You called him a sniper, even though he would get into lulls for a month or two?
But he was still statistically
he's not a sniper to me. To me, Dale Ellis is a sniper. To me, Reggie Miller is a sniper. Ray Allen is a sniper.
Statistically, a good shooter from three.
You're not listening.
Well, I'm listening to you.
Your head is not listening to what I'm saying. I just told you.
Yeah, I know you're talking about timely. I'm talking about, but you need to be a good shooter to hit timely.
I don't want to hear about 40%. Rui's been a 40% three-point shooter. What's happened with his 40%? It hasn't meant dick. I'm talking about percentage. I'm talking about timely shooting. We need Austin to make timely shots like he was doing tonight when the stakes are higher. That is his, in my view, has to be what takes him from here to here in terms of those playoff games.
It's also
your fascination with 40% needs to stop.
No, your fascination.
You're obsessed with 40% from three.
Your fascination with just being, he'll be okay, but you're talking about a time when he hits it. Well, if he doesn't hit it consistent enough, there won't be a time to have.
Would you say Rondo's a good three-point shooter? How deadly was he in the playoffs in that run?
Because for that time period, he was a good.
What time period? It's the same time period. We're not talking about 50 years ago.
He was statistically during that run.
Just stop with the 40%. You drive me nuts with this shit.
40%. There you go. I'm glad I'm driving you nuts. It doesn't seem to. Somebody called you a bozo on the last show. You went nuts immediately.
I give a shit. I've been called every name in the book. What do I give a shit?
Well, you went off on, guy called you a bozo, and you were like, woo! You went off.
So?
Like a firecracker.
This guy, man. Every time I talk about shooting and when to shoot and how to shoot, right away, 40%. 40%.
I answered your question.
I give you an example of why that's not a good way to look at it. I told you, you got a guy that shoots 40% from three. What does it do for you? What did he do for us in the playoffs the last 2 seasons? Forget about that crap. We're talking about we need it in prime time. Today was a good example of what I mean by that.
I don't care if he shoots 20% as long as he makes
No, I don't care. I don't care about the percentage. I care about when he does it. Tonight, he kept making those threes when they were making runs on the other side.
If you don't have consistent shooting players, you don't even get to that point, Joe. You're missing the point.
No, I don't. No, you are.
Yeah, you
are.
I
made a very valid point.
No, you are. Anyway,
every time I could be talking about flowers. Well, are they 40%? Are they 40% bloomed?
Sounds like you only want 10%. It doesn't matter if they bloom right in front of you. That's all you care about. Yes, Stainless Dave Garvey was my guy. I also want to go ahead and give a shout out on Twitch to Parade on Figueroa. Yes, he will be asking for a lot of money in the offseason. I know that you mentioned 30 to 35 million. I think at this point, if he continues it, games like these, or as a number 3 option, he continues with great performances like these.
You guys want to know? You guys want to know what? You guys want to know what? Sorry, I got to say this. You know what Robert Ory's lifetime 3-point percentage was? 34%.
Okay. What was it in the postseason?
Fisher's was 37.
Okay. You got to remember it was a different era then. So 40.
Oh, here we go with a different era.
30, was it? Yeah, it was a different.
I gave you Rondo as a good example. You still
different.
There is no difference. No.
There was
timely shooting.
Timely
shooting. When you look at why the Lakers were losing last year against Minnesota, was because Austin was not making shots when we needed him to make shots.
It was such a different game then. You know this. The
6 years ago wasn't that much of a difference. No, I gave you an example now, and I gave you an example before.
And I was right. I was right, and you're wrong. Just deal with it, Joe. Just deal with it. Anyway,
deal with what?
Answer your question. Parade on Figueroa on Twitch. Can we just answer Parade on Figueroa's question, please?
I don't see what the hell. I didn't see his post.
He was asking about, do you go ahead and commit to 30, 35 plus million? Because you know at this point, if he continues with the success that he's started the season with, you know he's going to be asking for a chunk of change in the summer. Much more than the original 25 you and I had committed to before. And obviously after a game like this, or even if he comes back and when LeBron and Luka come back to the lineup, he is going to play. And if he plays at this higher level, it's going to be hard not to say no to 30, 35 million. He'll be asking for more, Joe.
Know your salary cap. You all
But
signed
the
it.
Lakers will have plenty of money.
Owners signed it. Players signed it. So Austin, if he wants to be a part of a dynasty, does he want to take $45 million? Probably. He doesn't give a shit about that. He wants to make as much money as he wants. These guys are going to have to make a decision. They're going to have to be Tom Brady. Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowls because he took less money when he didn't have to. And Tom Brady was the best football player on the planet, arguably, but not much, for 15 years. It wasn't like he was the best player for 5. That son of a gun was the best player in the league for 15 years at least. So what is this team going to do? Is going to be, what do they want to do? Do you want to make every cent they can make, or do they want to be a part of a perennial titled team? Because you can't all get paid $45 million a year.
Uh-huh.
And Austin Reeves has yet to prove that he can do the stuff he's been doing in the regular season when it matters. And you have to do this for 4 series on a regular basis. Danny, Dak Prescott doesn't suck. The owner sucks. The owner infects everything on that team. And he has for 30 years.
But in Pittsburgh's case, I think you said it's relies still on your good friend, the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pittsburgh is run by very good football people that are unfortunately really, really, really stuck in an old thinking way, which they've always kind of been that way. But the continued support for a coach who has only won 3 playoff games in more than a decade, a guy who lost to Blake Bortles, Tim Tebow in the playoffs, and they had some ridiculous talent on those teams that they lost to those guys.
Free Smoke, I disagree with you. I want to say, because he said it'll take around 38-40 million max, because he understands the cap, and it's up to and says it's up to LeBron to either take less or leave. No, I don't think he's worried about that, because again, he has only one opportunity to make a life-changing, multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract to the level of what will be a $100 million plus contract. He has one opportunity to do that because he is in his prime right now, Free Smoke. So he took a discount before for the Lakers. I don't think he should be. I don't think he will be so generous this time around. So I think you're incorrect on that. Now, ultimately, will he? It's what they offer. What is the market for him? And if the market only yields 38 to 40 million, then that's what he'll probably end up taking, whether it's from the Lakers or somebody else. But he probably will be asking for more to start off with. But I don't think he'll have a concern about other individuals or team or things of that nature, because this is his chance to cash in, his only chance to cash in. Because if he signs a 4 or 5 year deal, he'll be on the other side of 32, 33, 34 years old by the time he's off that deal. So in essence, this is his time right now in order to get paid. He took a discount once for the Lakers. I'm not going to count on him doing it again. If you're saying he'll do right by the Lakers or do this, whatnot, he may, but I wouldn't count on it again, because he ultimately has to do what's best for him and his family.
That's nice.
I mean, you would do the same, Joe? If that situation were brought to you, as far as with siblings.
Don't ever compare me to anybody. I am not anybody.
I'll do what I want to do.
No. Don't ever say you do the same. No, that's not true.
So
I don't do the same thing shit people do. I would think you'd know me long enough to know that I'm not like that. Let me tell you this. I'm going to do what Tom Brady did. That's a guarantee.
You just said not to compare you with somebody. Then you just said you're going to do what Tom Brady
did. People like comparisons. You want to compare me to somebody. What I mean by that is I would take less money. I would take less money because I want to win. 20 million, 30 million to me does not that much of a difference. Okay, I want to win. I want
Just-
7 Super Bowls. I want 7 NBA
Not to
titles.
compare, and then you compared yourself to someone.
Well, I'm
else.
telling you because your
Immediately
dumbass was comparing me to something. So if you want to
Because
compare me,
and
compare
your
me to
dumbass
Tom
did
Brady,
it
you
in the next
fuck.
sentence. And your dumbass did it in the next sentence. Dumbass.
Did you not hear what I just said?
Yes, your comparisons to someone else after you told me not to compare.
Don't compare me to somebody. If you do want to compare me to somebody, I'm going to do what Tom Brady did.
But you just
It's not that hard to understand.
You just compared yourself to Tom Brady.
So?
You just said not to do what you just did. So in essence, you just contradicted yourself.
I just said if you want to compare me to somebody, I told you to compare me to him. What the hell's so funny?
You just contradicted yourself on live
No,
television.
I didn't. I said,
Yes,
don't
you
compare
did.
me to anybody, but if you do, compare me to somebody who wants to win.
But no, there's no but. No, you didn't say but.
I just said but.
You said don't do it, and then you said in your next sentence, I'm going to compare myself to Tom Brady, which is just a contradiction.
So 40%. There you go. How about that? That solve your problem?
40%.
Yeah, 40%.
Absolutely. There you go.
Yeah.
40%. All right. Thanks again for joining us. It is the Lakers. They won. By the way, they won. I know that Joe and I don't always sound like this when they win, but they did win 127-120. Don't forget tomorrow, it is playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. We'll have the game online. That was one thing that was a positive, Joe. In all your problems with playback, like you and I both agreed that the playback on their mobile absolutely sucks. But they're live on the computer. Yeah, go ahead and join us. We had a great crowd tonight, and that kind of camaraderie and that kind of community was great to see, Joe.
Yeah, it was fun.
You went out of your way to make a compliment on it, so I was
that was a great crowd tonight. I really enjoyed it. I'm hoping at some point these numbnuts at playback will give us more VIPs so we can actually have a bigger crowd, because that was as good as a group to watch the game as you could have had. That's probably the best one I can remember.
I agree, absolutely, very enjoyable. And what's the problem though now as far as following it up with the home victory? Hopefully tomorrow against a rested Portland team.
Because of this particular era of the personality of a basketball player, I don't know if they're going to buy into the fact that, well, it's a back-to-back game. We're going to be tired in the second game. I don't know if that's how they're going to kind of approach it. And Marcus it's interesting. Smart. It's interesting. They're playing both their Portland games in what, 6 days? No, wait.
Well, they played more than 2 games.
So two of their Portland games are going to be within what, a week?
Same thing with Minnesota.
Yeah. And Portland always plays the Lakers hard no matter what's going on, whether they're in Portland or not. They are going back home. They're flying back tonight, so they're young guys and they have something to play for in terms of their future finances. Maybe Austin says, "Shoot, if I'm going to be the guy here, I'm gonna drop 40 tomorrow again, and I'll drop 20 and 10 again." It's a hard one to repeat. Tonight they played almost perfect basketball.
Marcus Smart is someone who I want to focus on, because you and I talked about him coming in this season, because we didn't know what Marcus Smart we were going to get, because you only saw him for 54 games in 2 seasons. But so far, like was said by, of course, Kurt Affair in the chat, plus 33 through 3 games. That's not an accident, Joe, because he not only because of fact he communicates out there on the floor. He provides very tough, in-your-face defense. I don't see it at the level of what the DPOY, as far as is concerned, but I do see it where it's something where you do have to go ahead and say to yourself, yeah, this looks like it's something that really could happen for the Lakers as far as being a really good sign for that team.
Playing consistent basketball, game in and game out, is usually to the player like a Steph Curry, a Kobe, a LeBron, Shaq, like the great players of the game. Those guys have great games almost every night, and then they have like a dud once every few games here and there. That's it. I don't know what to expect tomorrow. I don't know. I don't. My instincts say I don't think we're gonna see Austin drop 40 tomorrow. He'll probably drop 20 something. And Portland, if Portland plays like Sacramento played tonight, then it's likely going to be tough to beat that team. So there would need to be Portland scoring maybe 105 points, and maybe the Lakers score 110 to win it. That's kind of how that needs to probably play out, because I just don't see. I can see Austin again dropping 20 something. I can see possibly Ayton doing a 20 and 10, and then Rui maybe getting 15. Not having Vincent there for depth purposes, it's not likely Marcus Smart's going to play just because of the history of him when he gets hurt. So now you're going to have to rely on LaRavia. You're going to have to rely on Vanderbilt. Connect is. I mean, he is probably maybe 2 weeks away, and I'm just being generous
he
here.
had one really good sequence where he blocked a shot, ran the floor, and got the layup.
I think
and
he's too.
I thought it was going to be the turning the corner, but it ended up being the same result out.
I think he's a couple weeks away from being absolutely done, in my view. I don't even know why I'm saying 2 weeks. It's an arbitrary number. I just don't know what to think of him. I mean, if he couldn't get going tonight, and unfortunately, most of his defensive assignments were coincidentally against Westbrook, and Westbrook was making those shots because Connect was hovering around there. And I say hovering because I don't know what's going on. I don't really know what the hell is going on. Like, does he have a problem? Is he ADHD? Is he bipolar? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense at how this guy has fallen so bad. Is he really thinking about the Knicks deal from a year ago still? That doesn't make any sense either.
I mean, the Charlotte Hornets deal.
Yeah. Is it really that? I don't know. At this point, I'm like, there's no way. Like, are you really thinking about that while you're playing? I don't know.
He just doesn't look like he has the same zip.
2 more weeks. Honestly, if I'm the Lakers, I seriously shop him out for his sake. Find a partner. Hey, give us a second-round pick. Somebody will take a chance on Connect. Hey, man, this guy needs a change of scenery. I don't know what else to do, guys. Throw me a second-round pick. I don't think they can do that because of the fact that now they have even more injuries. They just lost 2 more guys tonight, so it's not gonna happen now. But if he continues to do this through the time when the boys get back, everybody gets back, I think you trade him, man. For his sake, go. Hey, man, look, here it is. Game over. Like, get it out. Get this thing out, man. Otherwise, it's just going to be something that's just kind of hanging on your neck. I'm not gonna blame JJ Redick for that. No, I don't think it's JJ Redick's fault that he's struggling. This is a grown ass man league, man. If you can't. Who is Dalton Connect? I've already used this example.
Years old. He's not an 18-year-old kid. He's a 24-year-old
Robert Ory
adult.
And Sean Elliott had a trade nixed due to a failed physical. Okay? Sean Elliott is a damn good basketball player, right? And Robert Ory is one of the greatest role players ever. So who's Dalton? If that is the case, who the hell does Dalton Connect think he is? That all of a sudden... Hell, even Michael Jordan played for another team. Like, dude, if that is the problem, you got to get it out. You got to stop. Like, at some point, you got to get something that's not working out just to have peace of mind. Because it's not working. It's not working. So what's the point? If he's not going to make shots and he's not going to be able to adjust the defense in any way, you might as well go find a two-way player that is going to try his ass, at least on defense, and get something for him. Get a draft capital. Second-round picks have a lot of value in the NBA these days. You can use those in trades. So I think it's time. I think it's time that when everybody gets back and they're not worried about depth and only dressing what are they going to be? They were only at 9 today, so now they lose 2 more. Are they only going to is only 7 going to play tomorrow?
Well, with the two-way guys, what are you talking about? Because they played 9 tonight, and I don't know if Nick Smith Jr. or Christian Koloko were activated for the game, and what Bronny James' status is at right now. So yeah, it's very interesting to see what we'll see tomorrow. Again, we've not heard any word on Marcus Smart and whether or not what the extent of the injury was. It was knee related. He did go back on the bicycle and came back out to the bench before the end of the game. Unlike Gabe Vincent, who I said was in a walking boot, but the x-rays were negative on him. But just on a back-to-back, it obviously doesn't really help a whole lot for the Lakers right now heading into tomorrow night's game against Portland. JY says the Lakers were 19-22 on the road last year. Are the Lakers going to improve on that stat this year? Joe and G. Are they going to be a better road team than they were last season?
I don't know. I have to see the full team together.
But Nick T, I know you say, because that's what's been talked about as Dalton as a rhythm player. Says, Joe, how can you get in a rhythm with JJ inconsistent minutes? But how can you leave him out there? He is just such a defensive liability, Nick T. Are you willing to live with all the defensive errors that he makes, or the fact that the team got on him and Marcus Smart had to defend him because of the fact he didn't box out on a play when he was out there? I know that was said throughout Twitter. I saw that conversation while Joe was talking. So, and defensively, it is just such a problem. They single him out on the offensive end as far as from the other team. They singled him out as the defender they want to pick on when he's out there. He's got to prove to the other team that he can be a capable defender. Otherwise, you're just going to pick on him time and time again. So it's a problem, Joe. I understand he's a rhythm guy. I understand it takes him a little bit to warm up and get out there and get his shots. But if you cannot do the other fundamental things well enough, Joe, to stay out there, it's really hard to keep him out there and just say, yeah, I'm just going to give up so many points on the other side until he starts to warm up. But Nick, okay, AR is a defensive liability, you're saying, but he scored 51 points tonight. So go ahead, Joe. I got you off mute. There you go.
I thought he was pretty good, decent tonight.
Who?
AR on defense.
He was all right.
He was getting absolutely. Rebounds. He was initiating.
11 rebounds tonight.
I don't know what you guys want. Not every player in the NBA is going to be good on defense, guys. Most of the guys aren't. But
the defense gets singled out on defense on every possession when he's out there.
This team is it's not going to. This team cannot have 10 injuries in the first week and us as fans hope that they have a consistency going out. I don't know what to think tomorrow. I don't know. Because if they have a dud tomorrow, then we're right back to, oh my God, this team sucks, and is Austin going to suck in the playoffs? Today's sports viewing experience is so different that 82 games or 162 games is not looked on like it used to in terms of, well, we got to let it kind of play out. There's too many games to really assess anything. It's just too difficult, to assess something in December or November or in March or whatever. The Lakers, if they want to win tomorrow, already are going to likely start tomorrow with 2 less guys than they had tonight. So everyone that's going to be available to play is going to need to play the same way. the same way. And I don't know if it's likely that Portland's going to play as well as Sacramento did, which bodes well for the Lakers.
Well, again, I'm because Nick said, Nick said, well, just you give him those AR minutes, give him the AR minutes. Just put him out there, Joe. Just put Dalton Connect out there. See what you got. See what you got. I want the kid to do well, Nick. I want the kid to do well. I watched him from game 1 here in Las Vegas, or actually it was game 4 or whatnot because he played at the California Classic. But I watched him early on in the summer league, and I wanted that kid to succeed. But to see where he's gone since that trade, it's gone in the toilet. And you just, as a team, if you have that big of a detriment to your game, or a guy that just really can't do the things you need, and he just sticks out so much, how much of, let's say when Austin goes out, Connect comes in like it did tonight, how much are you willing to give up? How many points is too much? How much of a lead are you willing to give up? Or how many points are you willing to give up? How many points are you willing to sacrifice before you're hoping that Connect gets to be the Connect we all know? Because that's just what's going to happen. It's just what we've seen.
I'm done. This is a grown man game. I'm done thinking about Dalton Connect.
And I agree with you, Nick. He'll probably flourish somewhere else. If he's sent to a Charlotte, or if he's sent to a Brooklyn, or he's sent to somewhere, Washington, where he'll get plenty of time on a bad team, absolutely. He'll become probably a good, decent scorer in the league. But will that his detriments and his areas that he needs to work on, will that improve as well? That's the problem.
I can't keep repeating the same stupid shit every game. I'm tired of this. I don't care about Dalton Connect's problems anymore. This is a grown man game. If you can't get over it, then you need to go. If he flourishes somewhere else, good for him. I can't keep talking about the same bullshit every game he sucks in, which has been every game for a while now. Like, it's just a waste of breath and waste of time. If he can do this, if he can do that. I think we've been iffing enough this summer. I'm done. I'd like to stop saying if as much as I can. It sneaks in there every now and then. Kind of like saying if the Yankees didn't blow ass and choke every year, they'd probably win, right? But that's who the Yankees are. Aaron Judge. If he can be more clutch. If Aaron Boone can manage better. Ifs don't come true. So it's a waste of breath, waste of time. I think how this team will flourish is they have to think like the old guys back in the day, in that every game matters. We are going to play hard every game. We're going to be available every game. There's a difference when you're there and you're committed and you're playing hard. Even if you lose, you could see the difference between a loss that was done because you wallowed in your own weakness of, well, it's a back-to-back, or it's 3 games in 4 nights, or 4 games in 5 nights. You can tell. You can tell even if it does happen, their legs were just not in it today. But these are young guys too. This isn't an old team. This isn't the San Antonio Spurs trying to win a championship in 2014.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is, of course, a Lakers channel. If you want to talk Yankees, why? I don't understand. Go somewhere else. Yankees are fishing right now, so it just defeats the purpose on the Lakers channel. You do nothing when you talk about the Yankees on this channel. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Now, the Dodgers, before we head on out, Joe, are a source of conversation because they're an actual team that's playing baseball still, unlike the Yankees. So with that said, Joe, what are your thoughts on tomorrow night's game for the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. One of them is not named, by the way, Yankees as well.
Yeah, the Yankee story is hilarious coming from Yankee dumbasses.
Doug, I think he's from your channel, Doug
Yeah,
Davis.
yeah,
Or
he was
like
he had a he's an idiot. I don't really care about talking about him. The Dodgers are likely going to go into tomorrow's game with the same focus that they've had this entire run. And I would like to think that at some point, the Dodgers are going to unleash on offense. And I don't think there's a better opportunity than to do it against Mad Max Scherzer. You're at home. You just essentially did what you were supposed to do, split the games in Toronto. You win game 3 in relative ease in a lot of ways. Let's just say if you want it kind of like how you want it even in game 2, then you're gonna probably set the stake a little bit deeper in, because then you have to deal with Ohtani in game 4. And then you're going to have to deal with Snell, and Snell ain't going to have back-to-back bad nights.
What about the bullpen, Joe? That's what
I don't give a shit about the bullpen. I don't give 2 shits about the bullpen. You're winning a championship this year from your starters, and that's it.
Okay.
I'm not even. You have Roki who's saving you a little bit. Sheehan came in game 1 with the bases loaded with no outs. That's not how. I'm not going to judge any pitcher, let alone a starting pitcher or a bullpen guy, on how that went. Things went awry in game 1 for several reasons. And a lot of it is because it could have been the layoff. It could have been that you just caught Snell at the right time. It could have been that they just kept hitting well. And because they really weren't until they got to the mid-5th inning. Things were pretty close. So the Dodgers didn't give a shit. They came back in game 2 with the fear, or at least the scare, of going down 0-2 and putting a stranglehold, or having the Blue Jays have a stranglehold in the series. And I'm sitting there listening to Mookie Betts going, we didn't give a shit that we lost game 1. So what? Hey, when one of your star players is calm and cool, and then you see guys like Will Smith and Muncy being cool, I'm getting a good feeling there that these guys already probably know they're going to win this. Are they going to win in 5 or 6 now? That's the question. If they're going to win, I'm looking at it this way. If Toronto is going to win this series, I feel they're going to have to win game 3. Because I feel very confident that the Dodgers are not going to lose game 4 and 5.
Any word on Vesia?
Vesia is out of the playoffs
entirely.
And word is he's not going to announce anything until the series is over.
Okay.
I think something happened to the kid.
That's sad.
I there's nothing that's happened to his wife, thank God. But I think something happened to the kid. I'm scared that it's going to be one of those things where the kid was stillborn, something like that. I have no evidence of it. I don't know what else it would be. She was very long. She was very far along. She was about to pop, and I'm just scared that the kid wasn't alive when it was ready to be born, and that's absolutely just tragic. Tragic to the point where there's really no words to describe it.
Once again, it is the Lakers, 127-120. Again, tomorrow night, Joe and I may be arguing on the post-game show after the Lakers play Portland. Join us. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. It was a great community, and I thank everyone who was a part of it, whether you're on YouTube for the simulcast or on Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Aimless was there. thank you, Thameless, for finally hearing my playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break and coming on and joining us. It was great to have you there, and everyone else for that matter. And also, as well, if you want to catch the World Series, go ahead over to the Joe Soro Experiment. Not experiment, but experiment on playback. So you can watch the Dodgers game on Joe's channel, and you can watch the Lakers game on ours as well. And who knows, we might even pop up an NBA game beforehand, or what's going on as far as out there in the world of sports. So you never know what Vari cooks up on both those channels, and truly appreciate him out there. And I don't want to say too much more because Mark will probably just go after me after next, because I appreciated Vari for helping run those channels. But Joe, it's been a great time. Cannot thank you enough as always. But have you got an experiment coming up in the near future if the Dodgers win, perhaps tomorrow night?
More than likely, I got to see how things play out this next few games. My availability on the experiment is not where I wish it would be right now. But the evenings have been very busy, and it's gotten busier. Just things usually die down around this time, but it's not. I'm going to do my best to do more here in the next few weeks, especially with the Dodgers doing what they're doing. And if the Dodgers end up winning, well, you have until next Saturday, really. I know Jeff and I, should the Dodgers win the title, we're probably going to have a redux of the party we had last year on the show and drinking champagne on the show. This time, one little caveat is I'm going to go buy a bottle of Dom Perignon.
Vari, I think it will collide just a little bit as far as, because tomorrow night's game for the Lakers, I think it's at 7 or is it 7:30? Let me go ahead and check. Tomorrow is a 7:30 game. So if the game should be around eighth, ninth inning for the Dodgers right around that time. So they'll probably overlap just a little back and forth, but we'll see what happens. My best of luck to the Dodgers and also the Lakers tomorrow. Definitely looking forward to seeing what they can do, and also looking forward to seeing you guys there. Plus, again, for your members, I'm going to go ahead and have an NBA observations with Caleb Ponce. He's going to be joining me tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and record a NBA observations after the first few days of the NBA schedule. He covers the Suns, and I cover the Lakers. We'll go ahead and talk about our teams, plus what's going on out there. Wemby for MVP already? I don't know. They're starting that channel already. They're starting it, Joe, in Dallas. That was the funny part, is that they're starting it in Dallas with Wemby for MVP right after they start their chants for Fire Nico. Fire Nico.
When you have shoddy ownership, it infects everything. It really does. And it couldn't have happened to a better numbnuts like a Mark Cuban doing what he did. Mark Cuban is one of those guys that's praised for his coolness and his innovation and all that. But Laker fans specifically, because I had this discussion with one of my friends who, a lot of people know Mark Cuban for just that stupid show that he was doing with all those other idiots. And I could see how that could be endearing to watch, not knowing who Mark Cuban is in the sports side of things. But Mark Cuban showed his colors many years ago, him and Dan Gilbert and Popovich as well. These guys are as entitled as the players that they baby. And the moment somebody gets over on them, they start to bitch and whine like little girls. And that's an insult to little girls. So that told me a lot. And then as those things went on, then you started hearing some weird things going on behind the scenes in Dallas. People who were not treated well. Mind you, the Lakers had Dr. Jerry Buss, right? The ultimate playboy, right? You never heard anything bad inside Lakers headquarters when it came to that, right? But then here you have the holy of the holies, Mr. Mark Cuban, Mr. Innovator, Mr. Hey, we put DVD players in your lockers and all that shit, and then you find out that that weird stuff goes on in behind the scenes, and then on top of that, he sells to a bunch of nimrods, a bunch of casino assholes. And look at the results of this. If you in Dallas, if you don't think that those guys had a say in what went on there, and it was just all on Nico Harrison, I got a bridge to sell you in the middle of the Atlantic.
So with that,
to end this discussion, first and foremost, I know it's a talk show and I have to answer the question. I couldn't give two shits about Mark Cuban, the current ownership in Dallas, Nico Harrison, or anyone involved at Dallas. Not even a little bit. All I know is the Lakers got Luka Doncic in that thing. Thank you, Nico. When Nico comes into town, I'm going to tip my hat off to him. And I'm going to tip my hat off to the ownership for not liking him enough to send him to LA. If you want me to be like accommodating. But really, at the end of the day, I don't give two shits about any of those guys or any of one involved. They were set on fire in front of me. I wouldn't give a shit. So it's a waste of time to ask what, where, and why. And Dallas wanting him fired, what's that going to do? Now what? They got Cooper Flagg. Does that happen if they don't trade Luka? Probably not. So now what? Do you guys really think that AD is going to be him? We've tried. We tried in LA. He did it for a couple of years, but that was it. And he was an all-star. He was sustainable, but he never was that guy, and he never will be. So enjoy Cooper Flagg. At least Cooper Flagg is showing signs that he will be a star in the league.
Yeah, scored 22 today. So yeah.
So be happy with that. Stop whining about other things. And I try to focus on the good stuff sometimes, but the bad seems to rear its head because that's what people want to see and talk about.
Absolutely. But we're here. Hopefully we'll talk more good things for the Lakers and the Dodgers victory tomorrow. Once again, it is Joe Soro. Please go ahead and check out the Dodgers game with him, Vari, and the entire crew right there for you at playback.tv/the Joe Soro experiment. I know it says experiment right there on there, but I swear it says when you type it out on playback, the Joe Soro experiment. And then, of course, for the Lakers game at 7:30 tomorrow against the Portland Trailblazers, hop on over to playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. And then, of course, the world famous post game right here at the Lakers Fast Break as well. In fact, you'll see if you just want to go ahead and stop on by for the simulcast to hear our wonderful chat, stop on by during the game as well. Yes, Mike Tomlin, that fourth quarter, 18 points in the fourth quarter they gave up. That's just bad.
It's worse than bad because we're in an era of accepting mediocrity more than I think ever in the history of human existence. And mind you, it's just a game, so it's not that big of a deal. But Mike Tomlin is going to go to the Hall of Fame because of mediocrity. Tony Dungy became a Hall of Fame coach, and Tony Dungy is a great man. Oh, one of the best you can ever have in anything. Great man. He's not a Hall of Fame coach. And you can argue that Bill Cowher isn't a Hall of Fame coach, although Bill Cowher did more with nothing than I've ever seen any coach in Pittsburgh in my time. I did see Chuck Noll do a little bit in the 89 season with that team, with Bobby Brister being the quarterback and all that. But I didn't get a chance to see Chuck Noll in his entirety as a coherent, understanding person, right? Old enough to know. Mike Tomlin is so bad and so mediocre. It's mind-boggling to me at how he's been able to continue this narrative that, oh, he hasn't had a losing season. Guys, he's won 3 playoff games in 14 years. 3. And you want to know what 2 of those wins were against? AJ McCarron and wow, I drew a blank for a second. Wow, hold on a second. Let me get this real quick to make my point. Jay Feely.
Oh, Jay Feely. Yeah.
Jay Feely.
I remember that.
I didn't have to look. I finally remembered. The quarterback for the Miami Dolphins at that time was Jay Feely. That's AJ McCarron.
That's going back, Joe. That's just like,
yes.
Oh yeah.
And then they beat AJ McCarron, and they should have lost that game. The reason why they didn't lose that game is because of Burfict and that idiot Pac-Man Jones back-to-back 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalties that gave the Steelers the chance to kick a field goal to win the game. The other game that they won was a game that didn't score a damn touchdown against Alex Smith. That's it. That's it in 14 seasons. I've seen every game Mike Tomlin has coached. This man is as C- as I've ever seen any coach be. And he has been supported and touted and is the most overrated coach in the history of sports. And the results say so. The narrative, the support behind it, it's somebody has protected this man, mainly the Rooneys, and the media has protected him. There's a lot of reasons why. Can go into that for a few hours, but this is a Lakers show. But until this man is gone, the Steelers will never, ever reach a Super Bowl, and maybe not even reach a conference finals. They've reached 1 conference finals in those 14 years. That's it.
I'll say this before we leave. I know that Danny came out for a second, didn't you? Just shoot him. That's all that you can do, Joe. But
hey, Joker, don't talk. Please don't say stuff that you don't know. Please don't say that.
What?
He's had crap teams in 14 years. He had the best receiver for 6 seasons. He had a top 5 Hall of Fame quarterback for how long during that time? He had the best two-way receiver running back in the league for at least 4 seasons. He's had one of the best ends of all time the last 7-8 seasons. This team had talent. Minka Fitzpatrick was an all-pro. TJ Watson all-pro. Cam Hayward is an all-pro from all ends. Don't talk Steelers with me. I know the Steelers like I know my skin. Mike Tomlin needed to go 5 years ago at least, but he really needed to go after he lost to Bortles in 2017. That was it for me. Jacksonville Jaguars with Blake Bortles scored 45 points in that playoff game. Oh, and he lost to Cleveland too. Not too long after that. He's had some horrendous games that he's lost in the playoffs, and he has lost at least 2 or 3 games a year consistently to shitty teams. Those losses cost you 1 seeds, 2 seeds, playoff appearances. He is horrid. He needs to go, and he needs to go now. If the Steelers do not get rid of Mike Tomlin, they will never see another Super Bowl, and they will probably never see another conference finals appearance. That is a fact. I can't prove it because things could change. Maybe they draft the next Peyton Manning, but how likely is that if they're always sitting at 9-8? You're not going to get Arch Manning or whomever to pick first overall. It's a discussion that I've had so many times. It's nauseating. It's depressing. However, I am so grateful, beyond grateful. And win or lose this year for the Dodgers, I still am going to be very proud of this Dodger team. But if they win the World Series and go back to back, I think the Dodgers, the last decade, need to be celebrated immensely. Not only because they won and they were consistently winners, but the people that are involved were amazing. And for me, I'm just so blessed, so happy to have seen the Steelers teams from 2000 to 2015. Those guys that played in that 15-year era, they gave me so much joy. The Troy Polomalus, the Heinz Wards, the Farriers, the Ben Roethlisbergers, the I mean, saw 2 Super Bowl wins. I mean, I'm playing with house money at this point, but it is depressing because Pittsburgh is a football town. It's a football life thing. And it just sucks that these guys cannot get out of this mindset that this guy is what needs to get done. He's not. He needs to go. And it's even worse now because I'm watching Aaron Rodgers play. I'm like, this son of a gun still has it. He has 4 plays a game where he has some time to throw the ball. That's it. Every damn time he goes back. 5-step, 3-step, it doesn't matter. Rolling out. He is constantly running for his life. Wasting what, in my view, could have been a run. You could have made a run with Aaron Rodgers. He is still that damn good, and it's going to be wasted. They want him to come back next year, and I'm like, hell yeah, I want him back. But for what? Why would he come back? For what? Mike Tomlin needs to go. And that's it.
And as far as what, like I said about Danny, I think Joe's right. See, Joe and I agree on stuff. Yes, it was a bad game by Dak Prescott today, but he's got 16 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He's had a really good year so far. Why are they still 3-4? It's because Jerry Jones is the guy running your team. And obviously, if you can't fill out a roster in the right way, it takes an incredible game from Dak Prescott every single time to win games. And it just doesn't look like if he's anything less than, really, really good, they're going to lose games because their defense is just that bad. And, they traded away their best defensive player to Green Bay. I just blew my mind on that. But again.
Sorry, it wasn't Jay Feely. It was Matt Moore.
Matt Moore, okay. But
I think Jay Feely
you're
was
going to the Wayback Machine. When you go
Jay Feely, I think he was a starter that year, but Matt, I think he got hurt.
But Matt Moore, JB, you're just like, man, it's just like they go off, they're in oblivion, Joe. They're in oblivion, then all of a sudden you just mentioned, it's like ping. Yeah. It's like, man, you just like these guys, oh yeah, I remember. It's just so funny. I mean, just in the obscurity of sports, once you bring it, just all the light bulb hits. Yeah, I remember him. But we will remember this game from him, Austin Reeves. 51 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, a truly tremendous game. Can he make it double or nothing? Tomorrow it is back-to-back. Again, the Lakers will be without LeBron, Luka, possibly Hayes. Looks like Gabe Vincent, possibly Marcus Smart. Who knows who will show up tomorrow night, but we'll have it for you. Check out the notes. I'll post the lineups and who is going to be missing and not here before the game right there on the channel. Go ahead and join us on playback for the Dodgers. Join us on playback for the Lakers. And we're hoping that tomorrow night on the postgame show, we will celebrate not 1, but 2 great victories from the LA teams, as only we can do. But before we go, I want to give a big shout out again. Yaron Weitzman. I had a great interview with him. It's right now on the channel. Please go ahead and get his book, A Hollywood Ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers. It is not a book that the Lakers want you to read. It is not the most flattering of what went on behind the scenes, whether it's Clutch, whether it's the Lakers, what have you, but it tells you the real skinny on exactly what you wanted to know about the Lakers in the past few years, right there for you in the LeBron era. And then last but not least, good friend Drip Show. Quality work right there for you. Look at this. Look at this right here with Kobe and Gigi, and even to our audio audience. I wish you could look at this. But I tell you what, if you get a chance and you have something you really want for your holiday season, as far as something really original, something that you came up with, go ahead, follow and like Drip Show on Instagram or Twitter. Joe's got plenty of Drip Show stuff in his area right there, hats, shirts, right behind some. You can see it on display right behind him, and you can see it on display right behind me with Luka and Kobe. You can get that kind of detail too if you follow him. Indeed, Drip Show works so hard out there. He gets so into the influencer and YouTube channel scenes as far as what he does for all these channels. I am so appreciative, and I know everyone else is. Go ahead and appreciate him by going ahead and order something today from Drip Show Shop at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. All right, Joe. Good luck to the Dodgers. Good luck to the Lakers on a back-to-back, and we'll find out what's going on for both of them tomorrow night as we wrap up. Hopefully, a great night in sports for LA. Right here on the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.
L-Rob has some nice gear.
Yeah, always. Good luck, Dodgers. Good luck, Lakers.